Welcome everybody to another episode of the Nerd Continuity, where we talk about design, development, and all other crazy sorts of stuff that we find online. Also today I'm not alone. That's amazing because I really hate talking to myself at the screen, but I have a friend of mine from Netherlands. His name is Dennis. He's an amazing UI and UX designer, and we're gonna discuss a lot of cool nerdy things about web and technology. So please enjoy this amazing episode of the Nerd Continuity, and talk to you later. So first, introduce yourself. Like, who are you?
Right.
Why you're here? What you want?
Why am I here? Oh, that's
What the hell do you want?
a hard question straight away. So, my name's Dennis. I'm 27 years old, and I am a UI and UX designer from, the Netherlands.
Nice.
And I basically just graduated, and I'm currently freelancing and applying for different jobs and stuff like that.
Yeah. Nice.
That's what the whole super busy yesterday was all about. It was like
Great.
2 different job applications, and most of them were like so far out. I'd like take the tram, then the train, then the bicycle.
Of course.
I'm tying it all, everything back.
Yeah. How's the process of getting hired in the Netherlands? Like, it's stressful, it's easy. Like, what's the job market, especially in the UI and UX field?
The problem over here, I'd say, is that most people don't really know the difference between you make websites, you develop websites, and you stuff like that.
Yeah. So you can fix my printer.
Yeah. Oh God. Yesterday I was like, what is this? What was it? Like, what does this file do? And I had like an AIISC. I was like, I don't know what this is.
What? Okay. Cool.
So yeah, that's basically what how the job market is. I'd say it's decent, but like everywhere else in the world, you gotta be the energy of a 20-year-old, the paycheck of a 20-year-old, the experience of a 30-year-old, and
of course,
stuff like that.
Yeah.
So it can be difficult.
Yeah, no, definitely.
But other than that, I love the culture. Where I used to do business before I went into web development and stuff like that.
Oh, what kind of business?
Basically starting your own store or managing several stores underneath a larger company.
Oh, nice.
And applying for that, you gotta have a tie, and you've got to I don't know. It's so much more formal.
You have to look
And then-
sharp and to.
I know. Like, beard. Oh God, I haven't shaven fully shaved this off in months. No, and then with this, I just show up, and they're like, should I bring a suit? And they're like, don't you dare bring a suit. And then I arrive, and no one's wearing suits, no one's wearing ties. Everyone's just
nice.
super casual.
Yeah, it's way more relaxed. It's way more kind of like, I wouldn't say modern, but it's that there's less constrictions, and it's more focused on the actual doing a good job instead of like appearing or like showing off that you look good in a suit. That is kind of like silly.
I've had people say that, especially if you do like IT support, then they're like, well, if you start showing up in a suit, people trust you not as quick because you don't look like an IT guy.
That's racist.
I guess.
That's bad against like IT guys, or like IT guys that they want to wear suits. There are a lot of them that they like it, but they can't because
I guess.
Cool. So you wanted to talk about Concrete 5.
Yeah,
right?
it's the CMS where I got started with. It's like most people start with WordPress.
Yeah.
And I originally wanted to start with WordPress as well because it's the biggest one out there. And then I actually had a different client who said, I'm using the CMS Concrete 5 for my website. So I was like, never heard of it.
Yeah.
Went to look into it. And I was actually looking, I was like, well, this is really useful for the end user because pretty much everything is just front end. If you want to change something, if you want to edit a block, you just click on it, you say edit, you type in what you want, you do save. And the user is done. Basically nothing else is involved. And I was like, well, I've worked mostly for people who aren't like super experienced with like
Yeah.
websites and stuff like that. I'm like, well, this is perfect for them.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I got started with Concrete 5, and it has its flaws. It's a heavier CMS than other ones. Like
Mm-hmm.
it's not over the top either. Like I've heard people
Yeah.
say, "No, we don't use this because it's way too heavy for the users and stuff like
Oh,
that." And
really?
I'm like, the only major
Like,
difference.
what
Huh?
kind of heaviness that they're talking about? Like, on a matter of like code or actually performance?
JavaScript and stuff like that. Everything
Oh,
that's
okay.
and
Mhm.
honestly, it's not that bad. The worst that I've experienced at one point was that there was half a second longer loading time,
Okay.
and I was like, for like really heavy sites with lots of pictures, lots of like moving
Mhm.
things going on, I can get it.
Yeah.
But for like very simple websites, and especially the ones that I had to make in the past, there's no difference. There's barely any
Oh, nice.
slowdown.
Yeah, I'm
So-
looking at the video right now, like the video presentation of Concrete 5, and I see
Right.
like it's fully front end. Like, so you don't have a backend section where you can.
Do have one, but if you just develop and build a site, I don't want to say in a correct manner because that sounds
Yeah.
a little arrogant. If you just develop it in such a way that your user never has to get to
Yeah.
the backend, then they'll never see it.
Oh yeah, makes sense. No, it's interesting because one of the major pain points of WordPress, or the stressful point for the end user, it's actually the backend.
Yeah.
Because you have all the fancy themes and all the fancy pages, and then when you have to update content, it's
Yeah.
kind of like you're lost because it's completely different. You don't have a visual reference. And
Yeah.
one of the most common questions and messages that I get in my videos, like, can you build a plugin like Visual Composer, or can you build something that I drag and drop and I create columns and stuff? So yeah, I think, WordPress is kind of losing ground a little bit from that point of view, not having a strong backend, easy
Yeah.
to understand for the user and not a developer.
The color scheme as well, especially if you're building like a website which is primarily focused on blue, neutral color, a very clean color, and then you go into WordPress and you've got like the grays and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Or like, am I still on the same website? Am I still on the
that's
same?
true.
And no, they panic.
Yeah, it's something that like as a developer you kind of don't pay attention to it because for you it's kind of
Of course,
normal.
it's
Like
second nature.
that's the dashboard and that's the website, like are the same but are different. But for a user that it's not experienced, for him it's like it's kind of like a shock, like, oh, what is this now? What the fuck?
Yeah. So and you get all different types of tabs and stuff like that, and they're like, well, how do? And with Concrete 5, I've sent you a link to one that I did a while ago for a client for a general practitioner.
Yeah.
And they've got like a blog, like a new section, and I was thinking like, well, how can I add to that blog without going into the back end?
Yeah.
Well, it turns out you just get the URL for the button that takes you to a new to create a new blog.
Oh,
You just
nice.
put that in this case, a hidden blog that normal users who aren't logged in can't see.
Yeah.
And they just click on it, and all they get to see is like, ooh, enter the title, pick a picture, type the text, save, and bam, it's on the website. It's not distracting.
nice.
It's not confusing.
Yeah.
It's perfect for people who don't have a dedicated IT guy on hand.
That's true. Yeah, that's totally true. Do you know how the templating system of Concrete 5 works? Like how it's based and how it's easy or it's easy or it's hard for a developer to actually build a custom theme for Concrete 5?
It's incredibly easy. I had less trouble with Concrete 5 than I had with WordPress, which is something I'm still sort of getting started with.
Sure.
Basically, all you do is you build your website, like just a regular HTML or PHP website, and you add at the start and at the end, or footer and the header, you start like you type like 2-3 lines, like wrapper, blah 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 blah.
Yeah.
And then after that, you basically already have a theme. What you then do is for every blog that you want to have open for the user to add in something like a picture or a bit of text, you just say, add area. I don't have the code on hand, but you know what I mean.
Yeah,
Add area
sure.
block, and then you just save it, and then you activate the theme, which is just as easy, and it just says like, ooh, empty block. Do you want to add something? Yes or no?
Oh.
And if you say no, then the block disappears, so you don't see it in the front end either.
Oh, nice.
It's super easy.
That's pretty smart. Yeah. What do you think about? Did you ever get a chance to play with the customizer of WordPress, the new section with the customizer API, where they're trying to make this like everything kind of front end related?
I've had a very short look at it. Well, it was because of I had something other planned, and I saw your video on it where we were talking about WordPress is trying to kind of catch up. So I was like looking for it, and I found like maybe 1 or 2 videos on it. Most of it has one in one ear, out the other.
Yeah.
But besides that, I don't know. I still have kind of the feeling that they're still lagging behind a little bit. I must admit.
I have the same feeling. It's like it's really basic. It's really like early stages of development, and they're trying. Like they figure out that it's one of the kind of the worst part of WordPress, like the lack of backend functionality for the user. I'm looking also at the Concrete 5 website. There are a lot of themes, like pre-built themes here. They have a huge repository of pretty good things, and also add-ons. Like the add-ons. How do they work? They work kind of like plugins. Like how do you manage those?
It's super easy. You just say, I want this plugin. You say download. You dump it in your add-ons folder, and then you go into your website if you're logged in as an admin, and you just go extensions. You click on install, and there you go.
Nice.
Easy as that. Yeah, I know. It's pretty simple, and so far I haven't had any real trouble with the plugins yet. Any of the plugins. And very basic ones like having an image gallery and stuff like that. There's free alternatives for everything. So if you're just experimenting with it a little bit, you can do it completely for free. Concrete 5 is free. All the add-ons are have a free alternative. Yeah. So it's if you want to experiment with it, if you want to try it out, there's basically nothing stopping you from giving it a try.
Yeah, I will definitely give it a try because I'm always interested in stuff. Have you ever used Drupal? Going on a dark spot.
Yeah, no. Oh God, I had a friend who was required to use Drupal for her internship.
Yeah.
And she was just messaging me like, "Oh, please get me out of here. This is horrible." And she was like, "Hey, do you maybe want to try WordPress, or maybe you want to try this?" And they're like, "No, we know this. We know nothing else, and we're only going to use this." And I was like, "Well, it says a lot about the company as well when they're like refusing to change or whatever."
Yeah, I don't want to bash on them. Like, there are a lot of companies that adopted Drupal in Drupal like version 6 or version 5, where it was really promising, especially because WordPress was still super young. Like it wasn't that scalable and that powerful like it's today. Yeah. And Drupal was kind of the only solution to have a already built-in multi-site managing platform. You couldn't do multi-site with WordPress like 4 or 5 years ago. It was kind of a nightmare. Right. But the thing that I don't understand about Drupal is like every time they release a new version, they rebuild it from scratch. That's so. Yeah, they don't accept, they don't allow like backwards compatibility. So if you, in fact, we have clients with Drupal sites stuck at version 6 or version 7 because they cannot physically update. Otherwise, they have to rewrite everything.
Yeah, that's annoying.
Yeah, that's fucking terrible.
Yeah, well, that's another thing for Concrete 5. Like if there's a new update, you just click install, and usually there's no. I've never run into any trouble yet, so that's good. The only downside is not really a downside is that there's not as many tutorials and stuff out there for Concrete 5 because it's not one of the most popular CMSs out there.
Makes sense.
So yeah, that's I guess a little bit of the downside. But if you know WordPress, then a CMS like Concrete 5 should pretty much come naturally to you.
Oh, nice.
Look up a few of the tutorials and you should pretty much be good to go.
How's the community? Is it like big, expanding? Are they nice?
Well, they're all nice.
Okay.
But what I've noticed mostly from the forums is that it's just people asking questions. And
Yeah.
fair enough. Like, oh, this doesn't work, blah, blah, blah. But what did stand out to me is how quickly you get an answer to your questions. Like, I've had like a problem where I was like, okay, I'm stuck. And usually I try to, at least for 1 or 2 days, just keep trying.
Mm-hmm.
But this time I was like, yeah, no, I'm stuck. I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
And I posted it on the forums, and like within 2 hours, I had like the full solution and everything, just by I think a developer or maybe a high-ranking community member.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, that's pretty good. So I started browsing through other topics, and I was like, oh, this one got a reply, this one got a reply, and it's free support basically. You just ask a question and you get an answer. So that's positive.
Yeah, absolutely. It means they care about their own product and
Yes.
they care to give support to the community. It's pretty good.
Mm-hmm.
I'm seeing that it's built in Laravel. That's amazing.
That's so. I didn't even.
Yeah,
see
I'm just looking around the website and I'm checking all the documentations and stuff. So yeah, they use jQuery. Probably that's why it's a little bit heavy from a JavaScript point of view. It's built in Symfony and Laravel, and that's pretty good. That's pretty good. They, what's the average updating timing? Like how many times per year they release a new version, update, or bug fixing?
I couldn't tell you exactly because I haven't been using it for a year yet. I basically started using it after I was done with my internship, which was also my graduation project. So that's been like 3 months or something.
Mm-hmm.
That said, during those 3 months, there's already been 2 updates with bug fixes.
Nice.
So I was like, oh, this seems to be pretty good.
Yeah.
And upgrading is no problem, luckily. So I just did that, and so far so good.
That's amazing. Oh, that's cool. That's,
I almost sounding like a spokesperson for Concrete 5. I promise that I'm not. I only just started
You're
using
a business. You're gonna get hired by Concrete 5 to be like business representative.
No, but there are flaws in it as well. I had a client call me up and he said, like, I built this. I typed this whole piece. And now I click on save, and it just gives me an error message. It just says error, nothing else, no code, no.
Great.
And I was like, well, okay, I have no idea what I can do with it if I don't have anything besides that.
Yeah.
So there are a few minor glitches like that. They don't happen too often, but they are annoying when they happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. How did you solve it? Like, did you debug it in some way, that issue?
Turned out that the server was taken offline.
Oh.
Yep. It's like we just got a new server for that client, and we thought that they were the host. Turns out they weren't the host. They were just a third party using a what's that company called again? Amazon. An Amazon host.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, okay. And they were like, no, we're gonna work on it. We're gonna work on it. I was like, okay, I'll leave this to you. And eventually everything worked out.
Oh yeah, that's good. That's interesting. When when you get a debug message with nothing, it's just error. It's
exactly.
Like, okay, no, that's a good approach. Like, it's kind of like when I receive a message under my video like, this doesn't work, help. Yeah,
it was like a 45-minute video.
I was like, what? Please tell me more. Thank you.
Yeah.
Something do you wanna say something else about Concrete 5 before we switch topic?
No, I was hired to pay for 10 minutes about Concrete 5.
Okay, yes.
No. What can I say? It's a nice program to use. It's a relatively new program. Give it a try, or CMS. Give it a try, I'd say.
Yeah.
And well, let me know what you think. It's.
Are you gonna start doing tutorials about it?
I might actually. Like, I've looked at so many videos and so many tutorials on it. I think I might as well start doing some myself. No promises, but hey,
come on. Let's build a world of free tutorials for everyone. Yes. Okay, so moving on to the next topic, I share with you a couple of interesting, weird stuff that happened in the past few weeks, and I like to talk about these things because they're kind of funny and they're kind of weird, and I would like to call like this episode like the web is a kind of a mess, because it is. The first topic is from an article from The Verge. It's kind of old. It's from May 4th, but it went kind of like under the rug. It wasn't really shared online, but it's really interesting. Basically, it's about when Nissan, the car company, app developer, that they found out in his source code, he basically copied and pasted a piece of code from Stack Overflow.
Yeah.
Have you ever done that? Every time.
Not directly, because you could say that I've done it, but that's simply because I've been literally typing over what I see in like a video that I look up, and those are usually like tutorials, so it's fine. But I try not to copy paste, because when I go back to it like next month, I'm like, what did I mean with this? How did I do this again? So I try not to do that. The fact that it's done, I can kind of understand.
Yeah.
Especially like small companies who have like a terms and agreements. Like agreed to. I've noticed a lot of companies just copy paste from a different company.
Yeah.
So you got like, do you agree to these Minecraft rules or terms and agreements? It's like, Minecraft. Well, you know where they get those from then.
Yes.
I think it's a little unprofessional. I think it's a little something to chuckle about and kind of wiggle your finger at.
Yeah, that's true.
It's, I don't know. Like, if you're a big company, especially if you're like Nissan, it shouldn't happen.
Yeah, I noticed though, like, it's totally like, even sometimes it happens. Like sometimes you encounter a problem and you need a solution, and you find a piece of code, and maybe you don't have time, you have a deadline, and you just copy paste it. But you should always read what you copy paste, because this guy just left the comment of the explanation. It's funny. It's just a comment. It's not part of the code. It's a comment. Just remove the comment.
Exactly.
But it's kind of funny, and it's also not funny. But most of the times are the biggest company that they hire developers to do complicated work, and they don't want to pay much. So they use their role of big company and say, oh, do you want to work with us? So you have to respect this deadline at this price.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Some very big companies out there which have the worst websites ever are the biggest companies out there. I was looking for Shell, the oil company, and I was looking up the website, and I was like, what the hell is going on here? Like,
I'm gonna go there now.
Shit. But it was not responsive, and it was like just text upon text upon text, and I was like, what the hell are you guys doing? Oh, no, they changed it.
Oh yeah, they updated it.
It's no longer yellow.
You.
You see the yellow in their logo?
Yeah.
That was basically their interface. It was just yellow and black.
I still hate this yellow. It's
nice.
God. Yeah, it doesn't look really good, especially it looks like a purchase template from somewhere, right?
Yeah, it looks like every free template ever. Well, not even free, just every template ever. Like, I've got this website where you can find all kinds of different website themes.
That's true.
And they just keep repeating and repeating and repeating. And this one looks very much like one of those.
Mm-hmm.
Like, there's just some trends that keep repeating, even if they're not great. But it's because other people are using them. That's why other people are doing it as well.
Yeah, that's true. I'm from Italy, so in Italy we have this kind of culture that big company don't understand the web and don't understand the importance of the web, of having a good web visibility.
It's kind of true sometimes. It's kind of true, I'll be honest.
Yes. What's the situation in Netherlands? Like, you have like, these big companies, do they have a good media presence? Do they care?
Some do. It's mostly like smaller startups that are very much like on the nose and on the ball with that kind of thing. very big companies, they're like, well, we're too big to fail, and everyone knows Shell, stuff like that. Well, are you not going to use that to fill your car up? It's like, okay, then what does the website matter?
Yeah.
I come from a point, well, it's basically your card. When you're handing your card to someone, make sure that the info on it is correct and it looks nice enough and stuff like that. And a lot of big companies don't care. I hate to admit it, but there's still like lots of Dutch companies that are like, yeah, well, we've got a website, it has our phone number. If they really want to know something, they'll just call us. Like, well, it's not how it works anymore. I'm trying to find this one, and this is like a global company as well. It's located here in The Hague, but I forgot its name.
Yeah.
And it was just optimized for tablet, so the entire website was just pushed to the left. And there was this huge white space for like widescreen like monitors.
Yeah.
And then I tried like, okay, I wonder how this looks on your phone.
Yeah.
So I changed it and it didn't adjust.
Don't try it. Don't try it. Oh yeah. You would impressed by the amount of websites that if you try to access from a phone, you actually have the message like this website is not available for mobile. Please access from a desktop.
Yeah. Which is just strange because it's not that hard to develop for mobile anymore nowadays. Like,
absolutely.
Once I started using Bootstrap, I was like, where were you my entire life? And why did I not know?
Yeah, exactly. And at one of the like many type of companies, like insurance companies are the one that are like the worst from a web perspective. They have the most money and they don't invest in web because anyway you're gonna buy insurance. So
they've got another they've got secondary motive. They're like, well, if you can't find the loopholes, then we don't have to pay the loopholes.
Yeah.
Like even if they're like legally like required to put it on their website, you'd be like, well, just put it behind so many pop-up whatever.
That's true.
So take a company like Heineken, which is also a Dutch company, a beer company. Yeah. You can tell, like, these guys do know what they're talking about. Like, they've
definitely
websites, stuff like that. So it's very much people who try to sell a product who have okay websites. It's more very large companies who are like, well, we don't per se have like a media presence. We don't try to sell you an experience. They just go like, well, we don't need it, or we'll pay you like $150, make our entire website for us, and be done with it.
I accessed the Heineken company. It's weird. You have to insert your date of birth to access it. To like, let's say some ID.
Well, it's alcohol, so let's have a look.
But it's a website. I'm not gonna buy alcohol on your website. Like, I know what it is. It's just like
there's no Dutch laws that require you to put this on a like, I don't know. I guess it's sort of the same with like Steam, where you're like trying to buy a game and it's like rated like adult or whatever or mature. You do still have to put it in.
Yeah,
but that still makes sense because if you see like blood splatters.
Oh yeah, or also just to check if you actually own a credit card and you're not using your parents' credit card.
Yeah, true, very true.
It's just, it's really nice.
I guess it does have to do with like trying to not get people to drink or something. It might be a law, I don't know.
Yeah, definitely.
It's a nice website.
Oh yeah, it's beautiful. It's beautiful, it's really light and it loads really nicely. Look at that. So you were saying like before, hiding, especially insurance information, like hiding important info behind pop-ups and stuff like that. I actually read an article the other day. It was really interesting about how you can trick the user to do what you want with bad UI. Have you ever done that, or like have you ever encountered a situation like that on a website where because of bad UI you were tricked to do something that you didn't want to?
It depends where you call the line bad. I could make like a website which is like beautiful and has like very like sedated colors, like lots of grays added to the colors and stuff like that. And then suddenly in like the top corner you see like a shopping cart and you see this bright blood red circle that says 0. You could say, well, that's bad because that red contrasts really badly with the rest of the website. At the same time, you can say, well, no, that's an eye catcher. That lets you see like, this is what I've got. This is where I have to go. So I'm not sure if you could call that good or bad design, but the thing is, my education that I followed before I graduated very much worked with user interface design and stuff like that, and not so much the building of a website, more researching who you're making it for. So men, women, age, culture, like all stuff like that. I've got a book around here. So, can you see this?
Yes. It's gigantic.
Yeah, it's like 500 pages, and this is before you start coding.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I know. So there's some disagreement with me and school on that as well, but the thing is, like, you can research so much and get such a guarantee, like, this has been tested and this has been tested again and again and again for like target demographic. This will be perfect. But because of that, you can also be like, they respond very well to this. And even if that's like bad, you can still put it in because you know that your audience reacts to it very well.
Yeah, that's true.
What do you think about moving banners on websites?
From my point of view, they're really distracting because I'm a guy like who's interested in content and not like fancy stuff. But it's really eye-catching and engaging for a specific type of audience, especially like more mature audience, like from 60 and above. They are more interested in those kind of things. Like they get more distracted. I see it with my mom or with my dad. Like they're visiting our website, and the first thing that they do, they click on a pop-up banner advertising because it's but it was moving. Like
exactly, it's a picture, a pretty picture, stuff like that.
Exactly.
The thing is with moving banners is, first of all, it's distracting, but there's this guy called Jacob Nielsen who has basically written the Bible for UI design and stuff like that. He says, don't do it, because if you go to a web page and it shows you a beautiful picture of a building, and you click away and you click backwards, and suddenly that beautiful picture is of a river, then people, especially older people, can be like, oh, this is not the same page I was on before.
Yes.
So they might click away again, or they might click on something else, and through that they get confused to where they are and stuff like that. Therefore, moving banners aren't horrible. I don't like putting them in my websites, but the only reason I would put them in there is to either provide you with current content, so it's like ooh, sale, click it, you immediately go to the sale page, or to like give an expression, like give a this is a very warm website, or this is a very neutral website, or the problem with that is that if you cannot click on a moving banner, then it might as well not be there.
Yeah, correct.
Just add a background picture with like a call to action, maybe a ghost button or something.
Yeah.
And that works just as well, and it looks nicer, and it isn't distracting.
Yeah. That's I love this argument. It's so cool. Sorry, I get it. Like so pumped. It's interesting because sometimes in my company we have to spend a lot of time to convince the client to spend money before start coding the website, because the first stage is like, let's analyze your target audience. Let's analyze. Let's create like personas to identify which one is gonna actually access the website and make the website for them, and not just like build. And sometimes the client doesn't understand this. Like, we know our audience. Who cares? Just build the website. I don't want to spend money to analyze something. But then when that happens, they we check the analytics, we do user testing, we do research, and we found out that the audience that they thought they had, it wasn't the real one. Like, really? Like, so you find a lot of things and you improve the website based on the knowledge of who he's looking at.
Sometimes you just gotta put your foot down. Like I've had people who said use this font and it was Comic Sans, and I was like,
what?
You'd never use Comic Sans, and then you have to explain to them why not. Yeah. And it's just like, because it's so engraved in you, are like, don't use Comic Sans.
Yes.
And now you have to explain it to someone. It's like, well, you have to give examples and stuff like that. It's like, don't just trust me. Don't do it.
Oh my God. Yes.
But yeah, you should definitely have a bit of a build up before you start coding. And you should convince them. Well, they need to understand that
Yeah.
it's important that this happens.
Mm-hmm.
Web shops and stuff like that. I've had people going like, "Well, why doesn't anyone buy anything in my web shop?"
Yeah.
It turns out that the way I was like laid out and stuff like that, the button where you'd think the checkout would be update page button. I was like, an update page, but what's that do? It was basically just a refresh button. And so we checked the analytics, and it was like, yeah, everyone thinks that that's the checkout button, and everyone just gets a refresh, doesn't understand what's going on, and leaves. And he was like, oh. Okay. So it's you gotta be firm with it, but you also need to be patient. Some people
definitely
really don't understand, and you just need to communicate with them.
Mm-hmm.
Just be like, hey, you want this? Well, what about this? And you sketch something, and he's like, oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Oh, definitely.
Compromise.
And you have to back up your arguments with data, because if they see data, they understand. If you say, no, you shouldn't do that because I studied UI, they don't care. Like, they're like, whatever, that's my company, I decide. But instead, like, if you put data in front of their eyes.
Yeah, I know, and there's plenty out there. There's so much information and research on it that it's...
Oh my God, yes, absolutely. Moving to the next argument, there's another article from the Next Web, and it's kind of old. I think Instagram already released this type of business profile, but they're switching the application. They're implementing new stuff in the app, and now you can create a proper business profile in the inside Instagram.
Yeah,
and it's really interesting because that it's happening everywhere, every app, even the worst app ever. Like, for example, Snapchat. There was an app built at the beginning for dudes sending dick pics or something like that, right? It was just a joke. It was just like a joke app to send images that then they disappear. They just cancel the image. But now also Snapchat has business accounts, and Instagram is getting business accounts. You can have a business account pretty much on every social network, on Periscope, on every app you can have a business account. So my question and my thought is, like, if you want to be a successful business, do you really need to be everywhere online? Or this run of, okay, create a business type of account for this stuff is just a trend that everyone is following?
That's I'm a little torn on the subject because you're a YouTuber, you're a content creator. You need to every video could be the first one that someone sees.
Exactly.
So make sure that the quality is consistent, good throughout all of them. It means that for example, I never went to Tumblr before, like a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
I was like, I never bothered looking at it, stuff like that. And then someone started linking me like art on Tumblr, and it's like, yeah, like this and this and that, this and that. And I was like, oh, maybe I should get more invested in this. So then I was like, well, I got into contact with this company because of Tumblr, something which I would have never used otherwise.
Oh, really?
Tumblr isn't a very a business-like website. It's very casual, very much artist, and lots of bullshit that you have to just scroll through. But just to tie that back, any media, any website, any app, whatever, can be the first one that someone looks at. So I would say, just like when you're using social media, try and get as much as possible. So don't just have Facebook, but also get Twitter, also get Instagram, also get everything. So I'd say it's not a bad idea to be available on all platforms. On the other hand, I'm like, if you are available on all platforms, make sure you maintain all of them. Nothing is as ruinous to your credibility as a message that was last posted in 2014.
Yes.
Because it just shows you like, oh, well, this company hasn't posted in 2 years. I guess they're not that concerned with blah, blah, blah media that I consume.
Yeah,
so,
that's true.
As long as you can keep it up to date, I would say do it. The whole thing with like, oh, I got so many followers, I got so many posts. I don't look at it anymore. I mean, once you see like a tiny startup company which has 50,000 likes on Facebook, I'm like, well, do you really? But no comments. I'm like, do you really have that?
Yeah, exactly. Where did you buy those?
Exactly.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. Like, I totally agree that, especially if you're a freelance or like a developer, or if you're on your own and trying to start your small business, you should have a strong social media presence pretty much everywhere, because it's like it's interesting. I actually got hired to the company that I'm currently thanks to my blog. I also wrote a blog post about like they found me and they wrote a message through the contact form of my blog post, of my about page, and it was just like really weird. But the fact that I kind of don't like about the business model of these apps is that when you're a business, then you can pay to have your post in every stream of every user, even if they don't follow you.
Exactly.
I can understand it, because like that's how these apps make money. They get money for advertising and stuff. But then I start like having a weird relationship with that app, because I don't have my stream anymore of people that I kind of care. I have these advertising things of, I don't know, the government, or this new company that released these new bags of chips, and I'm like, who cares? Fuck it. So
completely agreed. Like I said, I went to Tumblr for the first time like a few weeks ago, and so I made an account, and I get like a whole list of people that I don't know posting things, and I'm like, okay, where's the content of the people that I try to follow? So it's like, that's frustrating as all hell, and especially if it's a company, the resentment builds more. Because like, oh, it's paid to be shoved in my face. It's advertisement. Exactly. And you start disliking the company because of it. So it has the exact opposite effect on what they probably want you to think.
That's correct. That's true.
So yeah, I'd be careful with that from a company point of view, because it might have the reverse effect of what you try to accomplish with your advertisement.
Now, because everyone is using these apps like Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, like they have billions of users, it's just insane. Pretty much everyone is switching their algorithm to show your feed from like a time algorithm, like a time organized, to like a popularity organized type of feed. I really don't like it because I end up seeing always the same things, seeing always the same 3 or 4 users that they have the most followers, or like they have the most likes or stuff like that.
Very true.
Yeah, it's
when you get stuff like that. Remember when you had like a page with like say YouTube, you had content on it, and you scroll down, and then once you reach the bottom, it said page 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and you click to the next. Then they changed as when you started scrolling, it started loading more and more and more and more and more, which is nice if you're just browsing and just casually looking for something. But if you're like, oh, I want to look for this one specific thing that's on page 3, you suddenly could no longer find it.
Gone.
So it's like, it's new technology. It's like, is it something? Is it a trend, or is it something we just have to get used to? I think the content scrolling thing now has reached a nice middle ground where you scroll and it loads maybe once, twice, and then it just says go to next page. Yes. Which is first of all good for not lagging down your browser and slowing everything down. And second of all, it's like, well, it's basically what we already had, but it's the best of both worlds. So that's good. As for the trying to push popular things to the top, add a filter, add a small button that says most popular or time or stuff like that. Yeah, exactly. It can be so simple.
The thing is that from like, because of like, we don't use pagination anymore. It's just like scrolling, infinite loading, and you keep scrolling. And as you said, if you want to check something back, something that you saw, it's basically kind of impossible because you cannot find that section. I think it's because how media consumption is right now. Like, you have an attention span of 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and then you want the next thing. You wanted something new. That's why animated GIFs are like the best, because you see a GIF, oh, funny, boom, next one, next one.
Get videos everywhere.
Exactly. So it's interesting because like they found out with research and data that people don't bookmark stuff anymore. They just like check, done. It's fine. Like,
it's interesting that you mentioned it, because I was thinking about it a few days ago, how the favorite button and just a look up later button, even if they have the exact same function, have such a different impact on someone. When you favorite something, you very much dedicate yourself to a thing, and it starts filling up your account or blah, 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 blah. So people are more likely to just, for example, on YouTube, click the little, what do you call it? Check later.
Watch later, I think, yeah.
Yeah, so watch later, something like that. They're more likely to click that than to add to their favorites if they wanted to check it back later.
Yeah.
So I think it's a trend that developers need to catch up on, how it's more how you formulate certain things, like say check back and stuff like that, and bookmark. Because I think there is still a place for it. I don't think it should be going away completely.
Definitely.
Like in YouTube, once you just my watch later list, once you're done with it, you just X out, and it's gone. Just as easy as your favorites list. But for some reason, the link is just, the step is smaller for someone to take, and it's easier for them to do. So I think it still deserves to be around.
Oh yeah, definitely.
But it should evolve, like all things in like content related.
Yeah, it's really interesting. And I was talking with Daniel Borodante. I did the interview last week with him, and I asked him kind of a similar question about, especially art, like recently art, like the fruition and the speed of consumption of art is just insane. You just watch it, done, forget. Yeah. And he had a really pragmatic answer about like, it's up to you. Like, yeah, there's a lot of like fast consumption, but it's really up to you. If you're a full-minded person and you're really interested in something, you should slow down and kind of force your media consumption to slow down with you and not get overwhelmed. In fact, there are a lot of people, I noticed that they also, like kind of famous people, they have, I don't know, 50,000 followers, subscribers on Twitter, but they actually follow 30 people, like they follow 30 users, their account. And sometimes they answer, they say, I don't want to follow more because I can't follow more. Like I cannot keep up with the information. And it's really cool. In a world where you should be connected every time, everywhere, with everyone, like slowing down, it's really interesting.
I think it very much depends on the format that you're looking at. Do you know the website Imgur?
Yes.
All right, that one is very much based around picture, next, picture, next, picture, next. It's very addicting. I'll be honest, like you keep browsing.
Yes.
But for example, I was asking in the comments, I think in the comment section of one of your videos about using images, copyright, royalty-free images.
Yes.
And one of your followers or one of your viewers actually recommended this really nice website to me. Do I have it? Yeah, it's called Unsplash.com, and basically has these high resolution, really nice pictures that you can use for your website, for your backgrounds and everything. And I was thinking like, well, how are these pictures different from the really nice pictures that are being posted on Imgur? And I think the answer is that how calming the rest of the website is. It really sort of forces you to take it in, look at it, appreciate it. It's a large picture. And I guess just kind of enjoy it the same way how you would enjoy a picture gallery if you were to visit it in a museum, stuff like that.
What's the link? So
Unsplash.com. I'll link you very quickly.
Oh, free. Do whatever you want. High resolution photo. Oh, that's great.
And they're good pictures. They're just straight up really nice pictures.
Oh wow! Look at that. Oh, this is going into my bookmark.
That's what I said.
Oh, sweet.
Sorry to the viewer who linked me this. I forgot your name, but it's a wonderful website.
Oh, and like, how does it work? Like, do you know who did it? And
well, it does show you the name of the person who took the picture. Like, for example, this one is taken by NASA, the space company.
Oh, nice.
And this one is taken by Dan Carlson. Now, I assume I'd like to hope that they've asked for permission for these pictures.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then you just click on download and you get the large version, the full resolution image. And you can just right click it and save as, and bam.
Oh, these are so cool.
I know, right?
Like, oh my god. Oh, this is amazing. I didn't know this website. Oh. So Thank you for sharing. That's
yeah, it's good. I knew I had to push it in this chat somewhere. It seemed like a good time.
Absolutely. That's perfect.
Can you see what I mean with the consumption of content and how this one goes slower than something like Imgur?
Yeah, oh, definitely. You get more attracted by pictures and you actually open it and look at it. And yeah, it's totally... Oh, look at that. Oh my god. So good. I'm going to use them on my website.
So if you've got content that you want your user to enjoy for like maybe more than 1 or 2 seconds, make sure that the rest of your website and your UI reflects that. Like make sure it's calming, make sure it's not just show a huge next button next to it, because that just asks you to to the next.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, moving to the last topic of today. It's a really interesting article from the web designer Dbot.
Yeah.
And this article is about 9 reasons why the hand coding, like a code or a website that you actually made by yourself, it's better than all these website builders that are out there, like Wix.com or what's the other one? I don't know. There are like thousands of these that you could use to build your... also, something like more famous like Squarespace or... like Big Cartel, all these websites that they have pre-built template and drag and drop functionalities, and that's it. Like no backend, no custom coding options, and the reasons are pretty standard. Like there's no groundbreaking news. The thing that I really dislike about these pre-built websites is that when you try to detach it from it, like, okay, I use this website for a year, now I want to move it to my own custom theme, but I want to retain a little bit of that code, it's unmanageable. It's
I know.
Just like
you just got to start over. You just got to start over.
Yes. Have you ever used something like that?
Yes, and it's actually quite a nice program. Like you said, you are very limited in what you can do.
Yeah.
But it has its uses. If you are like a single person who starts like their own company and you don't have the money or whatever to hire a designer, this is fine. You just put on your business card, this is my website, people maybe look it up, shows you the basic details and maybe a phone number, and that's it. If you're a startup, I think that's 100% fine. Yeah. Just do it. You got a website out there, you're sending yourself out into the world, perfectly fine. However, eventually you need to start looking at, okay, what do I want my people to know? What kind of experience do I want to give them? What kind of pictures? What kind of layout? Do I want to have more than just some information? Do I want a web shop? Do I want this? Do I want that? Yeah. They're getting better. Like web shops and stuff can now also be done in Squarespace and stuff like that. But it's like renting a house. It's like, do you want to build a house or do you want to rent a house? If you have a house built, you get to have as many rooms as you desire. You get to have as many doors here, there, balconies, exactly how you want it. Or are you happy with like a small place that you rent downtown somewhere and you don't need anything else? However, I think if you're a professional, I think you should always try to improve yourself and improve your business. Definitely. I think the most logical step after that would be to go to a designer, go to a web developer and be like, hey, I'd like to boost my company and maybe get us out there.
Yeah, absolutely. Totally agree. Many points about that are about this article are from a code point of view, from a like developer perspective, because most of the time that happens, like you're maybe a business that doesn't want to invest money on development of its own website, so they decide, okay, let's buy this or let's rent this, and then after a while they decide to move everything to a developer They hire a developer that unfortunately the first answer that they get is like, as a developer, I cannot do anything about it because it's not maintainable code. It's not something that I wrote or someone else wrote. It's like made by a computer. It's made by a software that automatically packages everything. So there's no logic. There's like no human recollection of this. It's
the same if I, for example, I want to get a new computer, and instead of doing any research, I just go to the store and I say, I want that computer. I take it home, and then I notice that it only has 2 gigs of RAM, and I suddenly can't play my video games.
Yes.
It's the responsibility is on the company, and you need to very clearly tell them, all right, you decided to go for this option. This whole world is out there of developing and building and maintaining. You could take that next step, and I'm going to help you through it. You should always, you shouldn't scare them away with like, this is how big the world is, and this is all the code, and these are all the hosts and servers. No, you'd be like, well, there's so much more out there, so much more that I can do for you. Let me help you, sketch you something up, and we can move from there. Yeah. So I don't hate it per se, but it's a little bit. It's getting a package, and you get nothing else. So if once you're done with the package and you want more, get a new package or get an actual chef who knows how to create something really nice for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's always like a value return. Like it looks like it's more expensive, like hiring a developer or a designer to do that. But then, the value in return, it's way better. You're not going to have issues. You're not going to have like regrets, because a lot of regrets, then you have it after a lot of time. But
and it is a scary world because a lot of people don't know what WordPress is. They don't know what a theme is. They just want a website.
Yeah.
And then they go to a company that makes websites for them. And then they have, why is this one $1,000? And why is this one only $200?
Yeah, that's true.
And then they don't know that this is a theme, that's standard theme, or these people make it just from the ground up.
Yeah.
So, and it's hard. Like I've looked online, and I was like, well, this would be real confusing for someone who knows nothing about this to actually get involved in, get started in. I think Squarespace and stuff like that give people a clear overview of what is possible without having to deal with 10,000 different PR managers and developers. And they're busy with their work. They spend 8-9 hours a day working. And they're like, well, I don't have time to spend an afternoon talking to someone who's just making really quick sketches.
Yes.
Even though we both know that in the end, that is what makes your website just a step better. Than all the other muck. Because there are some really nice templates, of course.
Oh, definitely. No, actually, like we're not bashing on that. Like WordPress, Squarespace, Wix.com, and all the other websites, they're really beautiful to look. It's just the source code that it's kind of weird. It's like
you can't do anything with it.
Exactly.
You might as well just throw it in the trash and be like, okay,
that's true.
Let's start over and let's make this readable for just everyone.
Yeah, and there was like a while ago, there was this huge trend of like artificial intelligence building your own website. You just give the artificial intelligence like, I want a website like this, that, and they build it for you, and they use their own grid and they code everything, but it never took off properly because it's kind of silly.
I totally understand that.
Yeah, it's control you have, not zero control.
Exactly, you have zero control. Like these websites that allow you to kind of make it yourself still allow you to be like, oh, I want a big banner here, and I want content here, and I want a picture here, something like that. Once you wasn't an AI does it, it's like, well, AI just goes through an algorithm and be like, oh, you want to sell a product, see top results for web shops. He just gives you that, and you can tell it, no, this is not what I want, because it just goes researches Google or whatever.
That's correct.
So now, if there's anything I wouldn't like, it's probably that.
Yeah, exactly. Totally. So like what well, that's a random question that I ask pretty much everyone. How do you see yourself in 10 years? Because you just step in this like UI UX world. You're trying to be a freelance and get hired. Do you think, and you already changed field. You were in the business before. Now you're completely in a different field. Do you see yourself staying there yet in that field, or completely switching another time?
No, I think I will be staying in this field because just of how passionate about it I am.
Yeah.
Like when I was doing business, it was very much to get a job. It's like, okay, I've got this education, then I'll get this job, and I don't know, I'll work from 9 to 5, and that's it.
Yeah.
With this, I noticed that I'm like reading articles at like at midnight.
Yeah.
And I'm like, oh, all right, is that how it works? And, like I've got my own blog with like stuff that I find interesting. And I'm like, well, I would have never done that if I stuck with business.
Yeah, that's true.
You just got to make sure that you keep applying for different jobs, and not just for like job offerings, also like technology companies. You're like, oh, you make apps. Well, do you have someone to design the interface for you? Because engineers have a habit of making something incredibly great, just something super well made. And then the UI consists of a font 8-pixel tiny thing on the side, where users like look at it like that. That's what, like, and because of that, you need to go to companies and be like, hey, there might be profit in it for you if you hire someone like me.
Yeah.
Because I have these skills and I have this background, and it will just elevate your product into something better. And something I've noticed, which is just wrong on so many levels. This book that I just showed you, I handed this in, and it was exactly the same book, but layout and stuff like that was basically just words, just block of text. And they were like, nope, this isn't passing. I was like, okay, completely remade it, made like a nice layout, nice, like way easier to read. And then my grade got like bumped up by like three numbers. Suddenly it was like a 7 out of 10 instead of a 5 out of 10 or whatever.
Okay.
I was like, I didn't change any of the actual content, any of the actual like text. It's just made it to look nicer.
Yeah.
It's like, well, if apps and if people are that easily influenced by just layout, then that also works with apps and websites and programs. So not every company can see that. So it takes some convincing.
Yeah, absolutely. They're getting there. Yeah, they're slowly getting there, because also they are applying UI, the logic of UI and UX and user experience to the real world. Like, so the other day I found a company that designed the shop, like the real shop for you. So they, with cameras, they analyze the pattern of your customer that comes in your shop and goes, for example, goes to a shelf, goes to another shelf, and then it leaves. So it analyzes that pattern and say, okay, so because it does that, it doesn't get engaged. So you should move your products around to let him stay more engaged throughout all the visits. And the product that every time they look at it and then they leave, just move it on the back. So at least if they want to leave, they are all the way in the back of your store. And on the way out, they see other stuff. Like, don't put it at the front and all this kind of stuff. And it's really cool how, like, now the logic of the web and like a graphic interface can be totally applied for the real world, because our actually like law of engaging human behavior, stuff like that.
It's, I mean, this isn't like a computer is doing it now, but this isn't something new. Like if you go into a grocery store, 9 out of 10 times, maybe even 10 out of 10 times, you first get like the fresh produce. So you get like, the vegetables and the fruit and stuff like that. So immediately you've got like that. Then the bakery or something bread is on the other side. So if you're like, okay, I just need some eggs, I just need some bread, and I just need some vegetables. You go in, you have to make your way all the way through the store while bypassing the cookies and the coffee and like the soda. And as you're walking along, you're like, ooh, I like this one, I like this one. So people have known this for God knows how long already.
That's true.
But now you've got, of course, programs that, how do you call it again? The customer journey? things,
Yeah,
customer journeys.
yeah,
Like
exactly.
we're just mapping it out, and
Yeah.
it not only in a 3D environment, it's also very much in like a web shop. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
oh, all right, this person is
Absolutely.
looking at this, and then it's looking at this,
Yeah.
and then it's going there. You just move some stuff around, and
Mhm.
suddenly people just start buying more.
Yeah.
It's optimizing. It's really
Absolutely.
cool.
To sell more stuff.
Yeah, absolutely. What
Everything
what
selling.
I'm really curious about is how the web,
Mhm.
if this is going to happen, if the web is going to adjust to virtual reality and how they are going to do that.
Yeah.
Because you already got a browser now, which if you put up an Oculus, you can actually
Mhm.
browse through it in 3D, which is really
Oh.
cool. You just walk through an environment and you get like websites all around you, and you're like,
Yeah.
that website, and I want to go to that website.
Yeah.
But it's right now not user friendly yet.
Yeah,
It
definitely.
looks like something that would have been invented by someone in the 80s. Just like
Oh.
neon colors and stuff like that. It's
Of
like,
course.
ooh.
Yes. That's I think that's gonna be like really engaging from like we're gonna have a hard time to adapt, but with the time we're gonna get used to it. But at the beginning it's gonna be like fully immersive experience because now like you're at a computer but you can still hear the sound around you and
Yep.
you have your phone and sometimes like you go to the bathroom, whatever. You have 1,000 different distractions that they can interrupt your experience. But
Yeah,
if you have
true.
a VR settings, like a VR hardware, that it's full, yeah, all your senses are in that experience.
And
So
as a
yeah.
company, to just get your undivided attention on the
Yes.
product, they must love that.
Yeah,
So I think
exactly.
there is a future there.
Yeah, yeah.
How it's going to look, I don't know, but I'm sure there's going to be companies like IKEA where you just have a virtual place where you just walk through and you'll be like, okay, interesting, I like this, and it just gets
Yeah.
added to your car. So, something as easy as that.
Oh, definitely, absolutely. And they just released at the CES 2016 the first virtual reality backpack. Because to use the virtual reality, you have to be
Yeah.
connected to a computer.
Yeah.
They built a computer as a backpack. So you just, it's super silly, it looks awful. Like it's this gigantic cabinet on your shoulders. But at least you can go around.
Yeah, but oh, that's dangerous. Like,
Totally
let's
dangerous.
walk into traffic or down the mountain.
Yes. Please don't go around in the city at night with your VR goggles on. Can die pretty easily.
It's cool though what they can do with stuff like that,
Mhm.
and it's like when I said it, like okay, virtual shopping, I was kind of like fencing, like going back and forth with someone, and this person said it will never happen because people get motion sick, and I was like, well,
Oh.
that's a legit thing to say.
Yeah.
Yesterday I heard they found a new way to if you get the Oculus and you see the full image, what they do is while you're playing, the edges slowly begin to blur and fade out. Your eyes don't notice that it happens,
Yeah.
and therefore they don't have to. Your eyes don't have to process the entire picture. You just
Yeah.
have to process 80% of it or something like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's brilliant. That's so clever.
That's true.
They'll never say something won't happen because of X reason, because they'll find some way or some option or new development to just
Yeah.
fix it.
Yeah, definitely. I don't know if this is the same technology or something they apply to the new movie Dangerous Henry or something like that. That this movie that was filmed in virtual reality, it was filmed with like cameras attached to the actor. So you see the film as a video game
Yes.
in like
I know
first
which
point
one
of
you mean.
view. And the first concern of everyone is like everyone in the movie theater is gonna get motion sick.
Yeah.
Everyone is just gonna throw up everywhere. Instead, like they developed a lot of technology to avoid that. And even if there are a lot of action scenes and chasing cars and stuff, you don't get motion sickness.
No.
That's really interesting. Like probably they did that kind of the same.
Do you remember Cloverfield, the movie?
Yes.
People got motion sick from that one because there was Steadicam going around like
Horrible.
this.
Yes.
How, like, you notice that, all right, as time progresses, people figure out a way to deal with these problems.
Yeah.
And, well, I think it's great. Like, technology
It's
just
exciting.
speeds ahead constantly,
Yeah.
and it's just really fun to look at.
it's definitely exciting, and I'm gonna have a lot of cool stuff in the future. So
Yes.
Ooh, good times. Well, this was an amazing chat. Thank you so much for keeping me company in the nerd continuity. It was just so good.
Problem. It was fun.
Yeah. So if people want to follow you, where they can find you?
Ooh, where can they find me?
Everywhere.
Everywhere and nowhere, because I've purposely recently got rid of all my social media, so I can reboot it as a more of a business savvy platform.
Nice.
Hey, if you want to get in contact with me, look up my on my website, so dennisdeckerdesign.com. So it's DDD. Yeah, I know, I thought of that. And just send me a mail there, and it's probably the best way to get in contact. Alternatively, send me a PM on YouTube. I'm on YouTube every day, so I'm sure I'll find it.
Nice. Awesome.